Okay, for today's video, I just couldn't stay away, at least for this particular holiday topic. However, for those who missed it last time, I am still unable to do anything outside of using my stock animations for reviews. One other thing. While Season 4 won't start until February, I've opened up a Patreon account for anyone who wishes to support me through that. You can get early access to my videos a day early, and for a limited few, you can even start requesting movie reviews as part of a Patreon review month thing I'm gonna implement later. Link is on screen, things are subject to change, and I'll announce it again next year when I officially make use of it. For now, on with the show. So yeah, as you might expect, I'm doing Freebirds today, the first animated film created by Real Effects Creative Studios, who previously had a hand in Cirque du Soleil, Worlds Apart, and were responsible for the recently released to theater film, Book of Life. Now, Book of Life was a pretty good movie, and a nice indication that the studio, when given the right writer and partners, is capable of producing well-designed films on par with Sony Pictures and Blue Sky Studios. Especially after coming after Freebirds, which was, well, that's something to be seen. So break out the phone and order some pizza, because it's time for Freebirds. We open with a narration from our main character, Reggie.
Fisame.
I wish.
The one thing they all have in common? Food. Like Thanksgiving. That's what it's all about. The time to sit down over the holiday meal. It's everyone's favorite part. Unless, of course, you are the meal.
Yeah, the meaning of Thanksgiving would sound great if you weren't one of the things they eat. Also, Reggie is voiced by Owen Wilson, who by this point can be hit or miss in his roles, but he'll always be awesome in the Shanghai movies. Reggie, of course, is that one turkey who is a social outcast because not only is he the only one who isn't a stereotype of his own species, but is also the only one with a blue head. And remember, if just one part of your body is different, you're an outcast. But one day, their elder realizes that what Reggie was saying was right all along.
They are fattening us up so they can eat us! They're right outside!
Finally, after all these years, that's what I've been waiting to hear. Reggie was right. Now, I don't want to go toot my own horn, but toot toot. Okay, now, here's the plan. When they open the doors, we run for the hills. Go team!
Give him Reggie!
What? Yeah, give him Reggie! He's the anticorn!
Why do I feel they're trying to compare the dumbass turkeys with religious folk? So it's curtains for Reggie. Or is it?
Family fun for one of my favorite presidential traditions, the pardoning of the Thanksgiving turkey. Only one special bird will be spared from this terrible yet delicious fate.
Now, for the few of you who don't know, this is a thing. I didn't know this at the time either, but apparently since 1989, they've been pardoning turkeys from being eaten on Thanksgiving. In that sense, that's probably the closest any animal will get to having some sort of animal rights placed on them, allowing them to live longer. But in this movie, it goes a bit further. Since the daughter picked out Reggie and the president doesn't want bad press, he decides to pardon Reggie anyway, and together they take him to Camp David, where the daughter inadvertently introduces him to the human concept of TV, Mexican telenovas, and the greatest national treasure of all.
Need to eat right now!
I do!
Well, we can save the day with pizza!
Yes! That looks way better than corn!
Call 1-800-PIZZA. Get pizza delivered right now!
Ah yes, pizza. The crown jewel of dinner time. A mystical and almost magical food product made with the finest dough, tomato sauce, and topped with plenty of cheese, which can then be transformed with an endless combination of toppings to suit one's needs. No one can resist the temptation to eat this. Neither the demon hunter Dante, nor the bodacious Mikey can resist the urge to devour this magnificent treat. And so, by abusing his pardoned rights, he makes a living of the place while also being able to have all the pizza he... Wait, when the hell did Chuck E. Cheese start delivering? Come to think of it, why the hell is the pizza dude, yes, that's what he's called, delivering their pizza along with whatever nameless brand he's got? Well, I know one thing is certain, it's a movie plug! But of course, his life is about to change, again, as he's kidnapped by...
This is your destiny.
Haymitch from the Hunger Games?
Whatever you do, do not make a sound.
I'm Jake from the TFF. That's Turkey Freedom Front. You've just been recruited for a top secret mission.
Why do I feel like he's just prepping for catching fire? So yeah, this is Jake, self-proclaimed leader of the Turkey's Liberation Front. He may seem like he's organized, but he's just as dense as the other turkeys we've seen. Although he appears to know Reggie by name. How is this possible, and why does he need him?
Because he told me everything about you.
He? Who is he?
The Great Turkey. He appeared in the sky on a bright ball of light with a voice that came from everywhere. He gave me my mission, told me I needed to find you, and then he gave me this.
He's crazy.
Okay, what's inside this, secret base anyway?
A time machine.
Ooh, lightning!
We're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu.
So let me get this straight. You believe there's a time machine that the US government is building, and you want to go back in time to make it so you won't ever be eaten on Thanksgiving? Okay, this actually sounds like a crazy yet potentially funny plot, but I'm totally on board to see where it goes. So having no choice in the matter, Reggie accompanies him to the shed where Jake believes the secret entrance is. Through a dumb moment, and Reggie mocking him for being stupid, they do actually find the secret base. And of course, they have to throw in small things that they think is funny, but not really. Since Reggie is the only one who can read apparently, he tricks Jake into thinking the blue line is the way to go. But of course, the way is blocked by many hazard suits. And when Reggie tries to use his pardoned freedom to get his way...
You guys are never gonna believe what I've been through.
Should we report this?
Too much paperwork. Let's roast them.
Copy that.
Yep. So anyway, it seems the government really is making a time machine. The president is in on it too. And they're about to test it on a human subject. Our heroes eventually end up at the time machine as it's just starting up, and the original pilot is forced to bail due to them possibly being contaminated.
Help me! Help me! Please help me!
New chrononaut detected. Engaging posterior restraint system. Setting supple.
1. Ass joke? Really? 2. Is that George Takei I hear? Either way, epic time warp!
What have we done?
Greetings. I am STEVE, Steve, your space-time exploration vehicle envoy.
Of course it is. Because if we're dealing with time travel and what looks like space, you gotta have a Star Trek actor. So they go back in time to the year of 1621, while random things happen. and they arrive at the Plymouth colony 3 days before Thanksgiving. And since the machine has to recharge, Reggie can't go hide in it. Oh darn. As they explore, they come under attack by dogs, led by the head colony hunter, voiced by Colm Meaney.
End of the line for you.
I'm dead! I'm dead! Oh!
Oh, we lost them again, Captain Standish. I can see that.
That's right, this guy is Miles Standish, a brilliant, yet sometimes brutal, historical military officer now turned into a hunter straight out of Red Dead Redemption. I commend the movie for using actual people and locations, but depiction-wise, yeah, he'll soon turn uninteresting. Anyway, the two get rescued by a flock of turkeys that, unlike the others we've seen, seem more intelligent than even these two. And their lifestyle is similar to the old Native American way. Interesting. But anyway, they escape, although they lose two of what I would think could have been the comic relief characters. Now for a running gag. Jake trying to outbuff Ranger, who I bet is his direct ancestor given how they both act.
But we cannot risk the safety of the flock.
Then I'll go myself, if you lack the courage.
Courage. I'll show you courage.
Again with the ass shot? This movie is just pandering to children at this point, trying to get a cheap laugh here and there. You know, the only times I seem to have laughed so far were whenever the president's daughter spoke, and then when this guy croaks because they were asked to wait 3 days to eat. And speaking of, besides the fact the colony has no greenery in or outside it, the mayor is trying to hold out on the food so they can make peace with the natives that are coming by in 3 days' time, and is relying on Miles to get more turkeys to satisfy everyone.
Anything at this point?
I said I would get you turkeys. And that's what you are going to get. Even more than you can eat.
Don't be fooled. He becomes less interesting later on. So our heroes are taken to where the turkey's nest is. A decent-sized tree with an underground network of tunnels that are maintained by the residents living here. Apparently, the reason the ones in the future are dumb is because they don't do things like they do in this time period. Sounds like a jab at the common American citizen who sits around doing nothing.
I mean, no, that would be... I mean, some do, no one I know.
If we weren't doing things, we'd become dumb. Don't you think?
Hello, wild, undomesticated, simple turkeys from the distant past. I have brought you a gift, and the gift is me. I am Jake. I have traveled in a time machine named Steve in order to stop Thanksgiving and get turkeys off the menu.
What's Thanksgiving?
Yeah, that's right. It hasn't happened yet. It's a feast of sorts.
What's a menu?
A menu, it's like a list of food items. What's important is that you stop asking me questions and agree to follow me blindly.
Every extremist group in a nutshell.
No! We will not fight.
So that's Keith David, voicing Chief Broadbeak, Jenny's father and a leader of the flock. A stoic and pretty respectable figure, he believes only in survival and protecting the people rather than attacking the humans. He understands Jake's desire to save those who were captured and may become food later, but feels it best to keep it safe for their safety. But anyway, time for our Reggie and Jenny moment, since he's been slowly falling for her despite his solo Lobo attitude earlier.
Advanced future turkey can do it. Oh, she wants you to throw up some worms into her mouth. What girl wouldn't?
Kinda dampens the cute moment here, but I always forget about that a few seconds after. Because they're so frickin' adorable! Look at them! They look like little cuckoo chicks from Zelda! I could squeeze one all day, they're so cute. Anyway, Miles tries to show how serious and intimidating he is, and it's still not working.
The problem with you boys is you're thinking about where them turkeys are, and not where they ain't. This is where we got them last two. They're leading us away from something. Something they're protecting.
You're saying they're doing it on purpose? Like they're smart.
I've hunted everything that's walked, crawled, or flown. And I always get me quarry. These turkeys, they're up to something. So tomorrow, we start off in this direction. And we don't stop looking till we get every bleeding last one of them!
Sad thing is, they're pretty much playing it straight with his personality, so maybe they thought it could balance out with the supposedly humorous cast? But the problem with that, hardly anyone is actually funny! Again, there are only a few times where things that are funny happen, but otherwise the attempts at humor are left sour in my eyes, since they're aimed for only the younger audience and not enough for the older ones. At least the story is passable so far, and none of the main cast I hate in any way. It's just, everything else is boring. Straight up boring. Oh well, maybe the second day will help improve it. So Reggie and Jenny are to divert the hunters away from the nest by tripping traps, while Ranger and Jake scout out the colony. Yeah, after hearing what Jake wanted to do, is it really wise to send him anywhere near the colony?
Try not to get us killed.
You're the one who's gonna have to try to keep up. With me!
His method is unconventional, but very effective. Two out to play it that game. Ow! 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 Ow!
Not funny.
Reggie? That was incredible!
Okay, that was kind of funny. Purpose! We need purpose for this joke. Otherwise, you become what Dougal became. A pandering children's mess.
Reggie.
Yes, Jenny?
Dogs.
Dogs. Yeah, I feel it too. Yeah, let's just be dogs. I'll be a boxer and you just be a Shiba Inu. Arrgh.
Good night, everybody. Okay. So the two run away toward the time machine, and it seems like Miles is at least smart enough to figure out when something is invisible, forcing the two to escape into the sky. This adds suspicion of magic to Miles' character, so who knows what will happen later. For now, though, Jenny gets a chance to see what the world is really like from above, and that Reggie isn't quite insane as she secretly thought.
Whoa. It's beautiful.
It really is.
I always imagined there was more out there, but never this much more. You really are from the future.
You didn't believe me?
Of course not. I thought you were insane and possibly dangerous. And cute. So was it scary? You know, traveling through time?
Nah. Takes a lot to rattle a turkey like me. Wish you could have seen it.
Oh, she can. Playback of time travel commencing.
Steve must be experiencing some kind of glitch.
This is where Reggie cries for his mommy.
Oh, that's sweet.
Weird, not sure why that turkey
Here
is
it
so
is in slow-mo.
Now this is fine and all, at least the calm moments allow for character development, but it's still not enough to save the film from just how dull most of everything else is. Maybe they really couldn't balance out good character development with good and better humor. Maybe they're just playing it too safe in terms of how animated films tend to go. Well, we have about less than an hour to figure that one out, so let's continue. Jake and Ranger check out the colony and see that there's guns and gunpowder in one of the buildings. Rather than report it to the chief, Jake decides to go find Reggie, who was just asking Jenny if she would one day go to the future with him. Surely we know the answer to that one, though. And it's here that Jake's rambling about the Great Turkey gets to Reggie enough to where he questions his sanity. Cue dark backstory.
I grew up in a cold, clinical factory. From the time we were born, we were fattened up on formula. Except for me. My mother kept me hidden from the humans.
Is it time?
Yes, sweetie. Now, these eggs are our future, Jake. Take them and run, and don't stop until you find a safe place to start a new flock.
Mama, I'm scared.
I know you are, dear. But I need you to be brave now.
So basically, he was left with a heavy burden and ended up failing, but was given a motivation boost from what he thought was their god.
He told me about my destiny. Gave me the sacred time knob and then told me,
the most important thing for you to remember is that you must
never give up, no matter what stood in my way.
Okay, if you paid enough attention, I think you know what's coming later. But even so, this was a well-done backstory for Jake. He was a child of factory corporates, and given an impossible task no child could do, so what he's doing is basically redemption for his failings. That I feel gives him more respect in my opinion. It's just too bad his humor is still flatter than the turkey slices I get every Thanksgiving. However, this pretty much keeps me from ever really hating the character, so kudos for that. Understanding where he's coming from, Reggie decides to help him out with his plan, which is to blow up the storage house containing the guns so that they don't have any weapons to use against them. Through silly gags that again leave no real laughs, including the remote laser pointer trick, they begin to rig the barrels of gunpowder inside the shack and inside Miles' wagon.
Mummy, I don't want to wear short pants. No.
Nope, still not funny. Stupidly enough, he thinks of stealing his powder horn and taking it like a trophy. Why is this a big deal? Well, upon blowing everything up and escaping, the gunpowder leaves a trail that Miles would later light up to lead the way. So guess what that will mean later. Either way, they return to the flock where at first they were somewhat upset, but then accepted their deed since all they did was blow up the weapons and save 2 of their kind. Speaking of, now that Miles can talk...
He said it wasn't the Indians?
It wasn't the Indians.
Ah, well, a traitor in our midst, perhaps.
It was those bleeding birds. Ain't regular birds. They got magical powers. I've seen them disappear into thin air. Seen another 2 flying in a giant egg. They're playing with my mind, trying to drive me crazy. I've seen them disappear into thin air. Seen another 2 flying in a giant egg.
Okay, so Reggie tries again to get Jenny to come with him, but they're interrupted by the fire trail leading to Jake's powder horn. And not a moment later, Miles and his posse show up to begin their hunt, capturing any turkeys they can. All alive, though. Well, then again, they don't have guns, so fair enough. But, why send in your dogs after them if you're gonna burn the inside of the tree? Yeah, that's great. Kill your hunting dogs while you're at it. That's a great plan. Jake reveals that he went to save what was in the nursery since he's got to make up for his earlier mistake as they try to escape with everyone else. However, because we need to have at least one person die, who better to be the sacrifice than Keith David's character? And admittingly, I'm glad they handle his funeral with dignity. With that out of the way, they go with figuring out the next chief through Ranger and Jenny's necklaces. Turns out Jenny's fits the missing piece, and Ranger actually is cool with it, as now Jenny wants to fight the humans to defend their home and save everyone. But Reggie is upset that this was partly his fault and decides he wants to return home, while Jake wants to stay and help out some more. Now, everything leading up to here was fine and all, and it's understandable that Reggie wouldn't want to ruin things more than he has, and it'll lead to him realizing that you shouldn't just leave things like that. But how they choose to do that is where I gave up on anything funny.
Hey!
Hey, wait!
Snap out of it, Reggie. We don't have time for—
That's right. It's a time paradox.
Like 100 time travel rules, and this might destroy the universe, but I don't have a choice. I've come back from the future to tell you something really important. What is it? You're an idiot. Everything you want is back in 1621. Jenny, Jake, a whole flock of friends. Yeah, a flock that I totally messed up. You're better off without me. No! Ah! I've come from even farther in the future to tell you that Jenny and the flock are gonna attack the fort. They don't stand a chance.
So, in one timeline, there was a Reggie who realized what he did was stupid and should have gone back, but was able to tell the Reggie from another timeline to correct his own mistake. However, now it seems that the Reggie from another timeline is saying that even with his help, it seems what Jenny is doing will result in failure, and
I'm so confused.
It's made apparent by this point that Reggie is the Great Turkey, and is so dense about it that even the Time Machine had to point it out.
Which means Jake was telling the truth the whole time? Wow, I really am an idiot! Hate to say I told you so. Wait, if I'm an idiot, then you're an idiot. No, guys. Technically, we're all idiots. But we're also all the Great Turkey! My mind is being literally blown right now! Mine too! Ah! I came back to make sure we stop and appreciate just how awesome this is.
Damn it, Wade!
So he goes back in time and in the same flashy entrance as before, gives young Jake his destiny. No, not that destiny. Hey, it's more creative than the movie's humor. Meanwhile, main timeline Jake returns to offer his services, and Ranger ends up respecting his decision for saving the chicks. With that, they march to battle the colony with flaming pumpkins of death.
Those are some angry birds.
Does my earlier joke seem less stupid now? So they get the cannons out, rather quickly I might add, as it becomes a race to see if Reggie can get back to them before they are annihilated. That's one piece of history ruined. Instead of death by old age, he just disappears from the timeline altogether. The second change is the one we all expected, the part where turkeys are taken off the menu. What substitute do they have instead?
What is it? A sign from the grandfathers. A most delicious sign.
Ah yes, the holy grail of bread and cheese. Surely the answer to all our problems. With this, the colonists no longer have any reason to keep the turkeys locked up and release them. Soon, everyone, including the turkeys, get to eat this magnificent meal together, thus changing the future to where now everyone can enjoy pizza over turkey.
Now that I wasn't on the menu, I could see the holidays for what they were. A time to share. A time to come together. To be with the ones we care about and who care about us. I thought I wanted to be alone. El Solo Lobo. Which I later found out was actually El Lobo Solitario. Turned out, I just needed to find where I belong.
So he basically learned what Sasuke recently learned. Never do things alone. Always have friends. So Jake decides he will go back to the future to wherever he's needed, while Reggie decides to stay with Jenny and hit it up with her.
Wow, you're moving pretty fast for a Pisces. Whatever that is.
Oh my.
You just had to have the last word, huh? So that was Freebirds. How was it? Well, it didn't make me want to break out and destroy crap like Dougal did, but it was still relatively boring. The humor just doesn't break it in for me during times when you know they're trying for it, while it's the little things that don't happen often I found funny. Not to mention, while they were more restrained with some referential humor, they still use ass gags and other childish things, and it sometimes ruins scenes that try to be sentimental, which while are decent themselves, are somewhat overshadowed by most of the movie until the third act. While the performances aren't bad, none of the characters are any memorable. Not even the villain, who tries way too hard to be this serious badass hunter. It just seems like they couldn't balance out the humor and sentimental stuff well enough to where it can be this crazy adventure through time just to stop Thanksgiving from being the way it is. Other than that, the animation is passable. It seems like early Sony Pictures animation, but it seems like certain frames don't flow as smoothly as other scenes. Something that Book of Life manages to succeed in doing a lot more. Come to think of it, if they could go from a movie with no memorable characters and average animation to a movie with lots of memorable characters and beautiful CGI environments, then it shows they have the talent to make any movie work. They just need the right writer and director. Overall, this movie is just not a good way to start off your animation portfolio, and one that I could only recommend if you're interested to see the shift in direction between this and Book of Life. Real Effects has what it takes to be another good animation studio. It's just it needs to do less of this and more of this. I'm the Media Hunter, and next time we finish the year with my entry for Red Ribbon Reviewers. I think you already know what's coming.
What happened? You're only gone like a second.
I've actually been gone for years. Have you heard about the turducken?